So what we're looking at here is the BTWIN Road Sport 100 saddle. Now this is a saddle I picked up in the Decathlon chain, which is a sort of European bike shop. Well, it's actually a sports chain that sells all kinds of stuff, but they have quite a lot on road cycling and mountain bike cycling, etc. And I was looking for a cheap saddle, basically to, not necessarily a cheap saddle, but a saddle that was going to be, that looked the part and was reasonably comfortable for any distances up to 100 miles on a road bike. And so I took a look at this, and it was only $14.99, which is really very cheap for a road saddle. Some guys are spending, £100, £200 in a saddle. And so the idea was to try and find a saddle that wasn't too expensive but still satisfactory over a long distance. And so I tried this out, and I've done about distances up to about 85 miles, so that's over 100, maybe 120 kilometres, something like that. And I got on quite well with it. I tried it on two different bikes. I tried it on an alloy bike and a carbon bike. The alloy bike has a seat post with a very short seat rail clamp, and the carbon bike has a seat post with a very long seat post clamp. Now, the difference that made was basically these. It has a standard steel rails, and on the short seat post clamp, rail clamp, the rails could flex quite easily, and so it was very comfortable, no saddle soreness whatsoever. And yeah, but on the carbon bike, it was a different story. Anything over 60 miles and I was getting saddle sore, and that was because the seat post clamp was wasn't allowing the seat rails to flex just as much. And so so that's something to know if you're looking for saddle comfort, is the actual seat post clamp, the rail clamp, because the only thing is with a short seat post rail clamp is that you're going to get rail fatigue and the potential for breaking a rail a lot quicker than a longer rail clamp. So there's pros and cons to all of these things, but certainly for those only doing distances up to about 50 miles, this saddle is actually, it's got to be perfectly satisfactory. And now Decathlon sell this for both mountain bikes, road bikes and mountain bikes. That's what they're marketing it towards, and I think on a mountain bike it'd be quite good actually, because it's quite a heavy saddle. We'll just check now they say it's 306 grams on the website, and so you can see there it's measuring 306 grams, and on the and it's on these scales it's measuring 306 grams, so the weight's bang on, but that's actually quite heavy for any kind of saddle, especially a road saddle where weights are, you're probably looking towards 250 grams or less. If you're looking to save weight on your road bike, I'm not particularly bothered about that myself. Now, the dimension, this saddle is 290 millimeters long, and the website says it's 125 millimeters wide. Now, I measured it slightly wider than that, closer to 130 mil, but it's a narrow saddle as saddles go. So if you've got wide sit bones, it may not be the saddle for you, but I actually found it quite nice to sit on. Now the saddle has this kind of vinyl kind of material. It's not even close to a synthetic leather or anything like that. It's just like that kind of soft kind of vinyl, and it's quite well padded. There's plenty of padding in there, and it has this relief channel which to be honest, isn't much of a relief channel. I don't think that's going to do an awful lot, but it's there anyway. Now there's plenty of grip in this saddle. There's a little bit of lock-in, so you don't slide about an awful lot on it. It has this textured dimple effect, which keeps you on board. If you want to stay in the same spot, locked in, it's reasonable. But equally it's easy to move backwards and forward because this material's quite slidey. And the nose is quite good to sit on as well. It's nice and wide and plenty of padding in there. And now this is the first sign of a cheap kind of low cost saddle with the staples around the edges, and you can see that there. And that doesn't particularly bother me, but may have some impact on durability in the long run, who knows. And it's a standard steel rail, and yeah, so yeah, it's quite a nice saddle. $14.99, so that's very cheap. In fact, I've seen it in one Decathlon store. They were selling this for $9.99, and in the website they've put it up to $17.99. So so in terms of marks, in terms of scores, I've taken some notes here, and the scores, marks out of 5 for comfort. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 for comfort. Style, I'll give it full marks. I think it's quite a stylish saddle. It's got quite a nice profile. It's not, doesn't look old fashioned, so it looks pretty good on a modern road bike or mountain bike. In terms of build quality, I'll give it 4 out of 5. I mean, I've done probably about 1,000 miles in this now. That's not a lot. I mean, 10,000's obviously got to be a better check on durability and so on. And so that's about it. I think for this, I'm going to give it, in terms of cost, price. I think value, I think I'd have to give it probably 5 for value. I mean, $14.99 is mega cheap, so that gives us a total of, let's have a look here. Quality, we said 4, style, we said 5, so that's 9, comfort 4, 13, value 5, so that's 18. So a total of 18 out of 20 points altogether for this saddle. And I hope that helps you with this if you're considering buying this saddle. As I say, it'd be quite good for mountain bike riders as well, because they're quite hard on saddles, and I think these steel rails are quite heavy duty, and I think they'll hold up reasonably well. And if you do break the saddle, then it's not an expensive saddle, cheap to replace. Okay, that's the BTWIN Road Sport 100 saddle.